Welcome to the Sisters in Service podcast. My name is Kat Corchado, also known as the voice connecting women veterans nationwide. This podcast is for anyone connected with the military, from veterans, male and female, military spouses, military brats, even parents who may have children who are in the military. As an Air Force veteran, I understand the trials and triumphs that women veterans go through in service and out of service. And so I wanted to find a way that I could put it out there into the airwaves and let everyone know what we're going through and find a way and a solution to what's happening to us in the service. I also like to highlight these women who are business owners, they're entrepreneurs, they're bosses in their business. And so I hope that you will follow me, you will share, and you will subscribe to this podcast, which comes out every week on Tuesdays. And as always, please stay safe, take care of each other until next time. And it's never too late to start your impossible. Welcome, Sisters in Service, to another episode of our podcast. I am, of course, your host, Kat Corchado, and my guest today is Robin Phoenix. And you're going, who? But you should know who this person is. She was voted Charleston's best comic in 2022. She is best known for her relatable comedy about motherhood, military service, and marriage. She is an Army vet with 5 combat tours, and her new mission is providing Heal-arious humor for veterans. Robin, welcome to Sisters in Service. We're so glad to have you.
Thanks, Kat. I'm glad to be here.
I know I said we, but it's just me.
It's just us.
It's just us.
That's the two of us.
I know that you're an Army veteran, and I always ask this of my veterans. Did you pick the Army or did the Army pick you?
I'd say I picked the Army, and then it kind of picked me back. You know, I went in at 17 and thought I would just do a few years and then move on to something else. But it just felt right. And fast forward 26 years later, I retired.
Right? You lose track of time.
Yes.
I was only going to do 4. I was going to be in there long enough to just figure out what I wanted to do, you know, and every time it was time to re-up, something was happening. My son was changing schools or, you know, stuff was happening. Like, okay, not yet, not yet. And then all of a sudden, you know, they asked me to leave. It was time to go. It's 20 years. So I'm like, okay, I guess I have to go. So what did you do? What was your job in the Army?
I started off as a 92 Yankee, a unit supply specialist. I was enlisted, and then that was in the National Guard, the Ohio National Guard. And then I went through ROTC and became a logistics officer. So got my commission in 1999. Big Buckeye fan. Go Bucks. Did logistics for the remainder of my service and retired in 2020 in the midst of COVID, which was very anticlimactic, by the way.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. You're just kind of, they're like, okay, bye, get out, see ya.
They did not even see. I got my DD-214 emailed to me. There wasn't even a thank you for your service.
There was no ceremony, nothing.
No.
Oh, sad.
I did a little happy party in my front yard. Some friends came over and we had some adult beverages and sat in the front yard and was like, well, that was fun. Good ride.
Wow. So when you entered into the military and you go to boot camp, was your first duty station in the United States or outside of the United States?
So when I was in the National Guard, of course, I was back in Ohio. But when I became a lieutenant, my first assignment was in Korea.
Where in Korea?
Pyeongtaek, Camp Humphreys. So a nice experience. Really good time. I loved that year.
I did. I was at Osan Air Base. And all the sites and stuff would come to Osan for R&R. Oh, yeah. Which I thought was, I was like, wait, where are all these buses? Why are they here? The shopping was great. The food was great. I can't say anything bad about it. I learned how to love kimchi there. I realized that kimchi is it's kind of like our salad. They have it with everything and there's different types. So okay, now I'm hungry.
I know. Stop it, Kat.
And so for my audience is listening, Robin is a comedian. So I'm going to ask you, did you always know you were funny? Were you a funny child or was it something that just developed as you got older?
I think I've always had a good sense of humor, but I think being funny and performing comedy, it takes a lot of work and uh, refining. I mean, just like anything else, it's a skill set. I was always pretty articulate, and my mom, God bless her, she would make me do every school play, do oratorical contest. Being a polished speaker was very important to her. That I would have that skill. I just didn't use it necessarily for comedy shows or entertainment, but I always was pretty witty and would have great comebacks. Like my mouth got me in trouble more than I could ever say. And my mom, would chase me around with the fly swatter to spank me because she would say it was being sassy, but I just thought I was being funny. I thought I was hilarious, but she didn't find it amusing at times.
How did your humor help you while you were in the military? I mean, after 20 years, seriously, you had to use some humor somewhere at some point during your service.
It got me in trouble more often than not. I was just talking to my husband about this topic. I said, I don't think that humor and wit and the creative aspect is really valued or appreciated as a leadership trait or competency. It's almost like, I mean, of course, there's lots of joking around and stuff like that in the military, but there are so many leaders that I had that did not appreciate a good sense of humor. I hardly ever saw them laugh or joke around. So it was almost like countercultural to be funny. And I really knew probably when I was a senior major, I knew that I was who I was and what I could do creatively, and the Army weren't really jiving, and that my exit would be pretty sooner than what I had thought. I thought maybe, well, I'll stay in to be a colonel, or I just didn't have it in me. I was betraying my true self. I wanted to be able to be playful and joke around and humorous and entertain. And there's just no room for that, right? Especially with some of the climate issues that we had in those years with just so many senior leaders getting in trouble for saying the wrong thing.
Right.
So it wasn't a safe place for me to be able to express myself and be doing this as a career, because my comedy is normally pretty clean, but it's also PG-13 and edgy. I've got some content that's definitely adult focused and not appropriate for children. So that would have gotten me in trouble in the military for sure. In fact, I did get in trouble one time for saying something that was completely a joke and end up getting a letter of reprimand for it.
Oh my goodness. It's a little stifling though, to feel like you can't be you. So I was in the military back when nothing was happening. I was in the military during the 80s. Nothing was happening in the 80s. And I had, looking back, some very cool supervisors. And I remember I had this joke. It wasn't a joke. It was Donald Duck having a hissy fit. And I colored it in, and it said, every day of my life, I'm forced to add another name to the list of people who can just kiss my ass. And my boss walked by and he goes, that's not very professional, right? And I go, yeah, I know. And he goes, okay. And he just left it. But, when everyone's wearing the same uniform, you have to shine in a different way. You have to, people say, well, you look the same, you sound the same. I'm like, no, you shine it in a different way. But it must be hard to be a comedian and not be, you've got this great comeback and you can't say it. You can't,
Right.
You know what I mean? And even if you try to reword it, it doesn't exactly sit the same way. You know what I mean? So I know that when you were transitioning, did you know that this was what you were going to do? Did you, because some people say I had a hard time with transitioning, and I feel as though you knew exactly what you were going to do when you transitioned. Is that true?
No. Well, I started thinking about my transition about a year before, and I didn't know. I actually, of all the places that you would go to figure out what you're going to do, I went to Vegas. I was
well, you'll definitely figure out something in Vegas.
Yeah. Well, the stories I have from that trip, I went to Vegas. I went to an AWS, Amazon Web Services conference. I thought I was going to get into cloud technology and get my certification to do cloud IT cyber work. I really don't know why I thought that that would be a good fit for me, but I went, and it became very apparent within 2 hours at this conference that this was not for me. And to be quite honest with you, I left and I was still kind of upset because this was December. I was retiring in April, so I had 4 months to figure out what the heck I was going to do. And I sat at the airport bar, and my flight got canceled or delayed. And of course, I'm having some adult beverages, and this gentleman next to me, I'm telling him about leaving the military, and he's giving me some advice because, what better person to give you advice than someone drunk at a bar in Vegas? And he said, well, if money was an issue, if you could do anything, what would you do? So I'd be a stand-up comic. And he said, oh, really? Are you funny? Like, who are your favorites? Blah, blah, blah. And they said, well, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? And I said, I would heal people. I said, so many of my friends, I've lost too many people to suicide. I've lost too many friends that I know that are really struggling, and they don't have an outlet. And I think laughter is the best medicine. And he said, that has a nice ring to it. And he said, you should do that. It's like when you talk about it, you just light up. And so I came home and walked in the front door, and I said, hey, babe, I'm going to be a stand-up comedian. And he's like, great. I support you 100%. Let's do it.
That's awesome.
So that was it. And then from there, I did take an intermittent job for the Military Women's Memorial for a little while, and had a great team to work with there. And I really felt that was a nice transition role for me. But I knew in my heart that even though it was a great mission, it wasn't my purpose. So then after about a little over a year with them, I just said, hey, life's calling me, pulling me a different direction. I have to do this. And I went all in, completely left that job and did 100%. I'm all in comedy.
So I listen to a lot of different comedians, and they all have different types of humor. How did you find your okay, let me ask you this. Is there such a thing as a comedic style? And if there is, how did you know which one you fit into?
Yeah, I mean, there are people who do like impersonations or lots of act outs. There are people who specialize in one-liners. There's more dry humor, sarcastic humor. Mine's largely observational humor, just things that I see or experience in life. I think it's just talking about those topics that are super funny, that are normal things, normal everyday things, like picking up your kids from school, laundry, how my husband hates it that I have 12 decorative pillows on our bed. It's things that we all can relate to,
Exactly.
It's waiting in line at Disney World. I mean, it's just little things here and there. So I would say my style is just mostly, it's just relatable humor about life.
I hear you. People watching is one of the best because you find stuff that you would never normally see, especially if you're on vacation, if you're in a different place than what you're used to, and you watch people. Like being in an airport's the best time to watch people, how they act, how they react, and I just kind of giggle to myself when I see something funny. When you first got up on stage, tell us about that first moment. What were you feeling? What does that feel like? Because I kind of equate it to being on stage when you're talking to someone, but or talking to a group or a large group, but when you're talking about a subject that you know about, you kind of just relax and get into it. Is that how it was for you, or was it a little more intense?
I don't think I was that nervous, and the reason why is the military. Right. We have to present. I had, as a battalion commander, I had to give QTB briefings. I worked for several GOs before I retired. I mean, when you're in that level and you're presenting and speaking, you're really not that nervous in front of a bar full of strangers. I mean, what are they going to do? Like not let you buy a beer afterwards? I mean, it was pretty low threat. Now, a little bit different if it was to be, a bigger venue, maybe the Apollo Theater or something. I'm sure I would probably get some butterflies, but it's so powerful. It's so awesome to take a room that's cold, that they probably came there, most of them expecting to get some sort of entertainment or laughter, but to get them to go from 0 to 10 and laugh and to pull a laugh out of somebody is the best. It's addicting. It's like a drug. It truly is an addiction, and you want more of it and more of it and more of it. And I'm probably annoying to hang with because I try to find humor in everything. So if you and I were sitting like at the airport, I'd be, oh, that right there, I need to write that down. Like that's a joke. So yeah, it's powerful.
We all have that person that we have met in the military that was just so incredibly funny. Like they weren't even trying, just stuff would fall out of their mouth. And there were times when my sides were hurting. We just had to tell this person, please shut up, stop saying stuff. And it's just that natural thing that they have. I'm funny on occasion when I don't mean to be funny.
Of course.
And my husband will start giggling at me. I'm like, what? So good thing I'm not a comedian. But how does humor heal, in your opinion?
Well, first, if I could just say, one of my inspirations is Corporal Jason Tyler, who I served with, and he passed away in 2018, and he was so funny. He would light up a room, and a lot of times at the end of my shows and stuff, I'll dedicate the show to him, and to others that I've lost. But so that's the type of funny. I remember being in the motor pool. We were trying to change a tire one time. I mean, just all kinds of funny stuff that you experience being around soldiers. But he was definitely an inspiration for me to laugh more because I was a very serious battalion commander at the time. But you said, like, how does it heal people? Well, I mean, there's the science behind it. There's the increase of dopamine, just the hormonal change in your body when you laugh, that release. It's almost like a release of pressure. You have like a good laugh, like a laugh like where you're shaking and your sides hurt and you just you might
Yes.
even cry. That's the best. And it releases so much tension. And it also like gives you, it just boosts your morale, right? It just makes you feel lighter, less stressed, happier. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good for a lot of things, for your heart, for your whole body wellness, your whole health.
It changes a lot inside your body, even though you can't see it. It's changing a lot. I think that if I couldn't laugh, like if I ever got to the point where I heard something that normally would be incredibly funny and I didn't A, think it was funny, or B, smile, or 3, laugh, I'm in big trouble. So even at my worst time, I would hear something and in my mind, I'm like, wow, that's kind of funny, but if I got to a point where I never thought any of that, because laughing is great. It's just, I can't imagine not laughing. And as you can tell, I laugh all the time because it's just good for you. And, it's great for your face and it reduces wrinkles. And yeah, I'm just joking. I don't know.
I'm like, I don't know. I think I might have more wrinkles from laughing. It's hard to tell because I get all that Botox. My face is half frozen from Botox now.
What's the biggest venue you've ever done your stand-up comedian in?
Conferences. I've done some pretty big military formals, like military balls with several hundred people, and then conferences. I do corporate events, so like Wells Fargo. I don't know how many people were on that. It was actually a virtual performance, and then I'm getting ready to do another conference in Norfolk, and that's about 1,000 people. So
that's a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, making 1,000 people laugh is fit. A whole room that big laughing together, beautiful.
Oh,
beautiful.
That's a great sound, especially, there have been certain times in our lives and especially now where you watch the news and everything is just, it just weighs you down and you feel so heavy that being able to laugh kind of gives you that moment where you're not thinking about any of that. It just gives you that time to just say, you know what, I'm just gonna, and sometimes when I've been a little down or, I'll purposely watch something funny or even rewatch something that I knew was funny because I always laugh at the same places. Isn't that weird? You watch a movie and you laugh in the same exact spots that you laughed before. But funny's funny and it never gets old. At least I don't think it gets old. So I also was reading your bio, and you speak regularly about the mental health benefits on the applied use of humor. with a specific focus on the veteran and military community. Can you explain that a little bit for our audience?
Yeah, well, I'm getting my certification as a certified humor professional. Believe it or not, there is such a thing through the Association for the Applied and Therapeutic Use of Humor. And right now I'm doing a pilot program at the Charleston VA hospital where we have two things. One is I lead a stand-up comedy 101 course for their Veteran Enrichment Center. And the second thing is I do inpatient work in the behavioral health ward with behavioral health patients that have any range of medical issues from schizophrenia to PTSD, anxiety, many of them substance abuse or homelessness like besides their mental health issues, they have like these social other issues. And it's just really time for me to go in there and make them laugh and do something different besides their normal group therapy or their one-on-one therapy. And it is so impactful. Like I get kind of goosies when I talk about it because to see their faces, you go in there and it's they're all in scrubs because they wear the same, they all have to wear the same thing, and most of them are there involuntarily, and they are so excited to have somebody come in there for 30-45 minutes and make them laugh. And that's really my passion. I mean, stand-up comedy is great, but my passion is using it to help them.
Well, a lot of people they see on a regular basis are either for meds or for other stuff. But when someone just comes in and just wants to make them laugh, I think that's just, why would you not want to do that? You know what I mean? Why would you not want to go there? There's someone who's there and they don't want anything from you except to make you laugh.
Yep.
But do you see when you're there and you're talking and you're doing your comedy, do you see their faces change? Because I'm sure they come in and they have a certain look on their face. And then when you do your comedy and their face changes or it lights up and they walk out and they're smiling. I mean, that's just, I can't even imagine what that feels like for you.
I get choked up sometimes. I have one of the patients stutters a lot, but not when he's telling jokes, not when he's doing comedy. And he likes to share jokes that he's thought of with me. I thought of another one for you. But any other time, he has a hard time communicating. But that's really special. And then they'll, and I'm not easy on these guys. I mean, if there's a Marine in there or Air Force, I'm talking smack. They love it. They love to talk smack with each other. I mean, I had an Air Force guy yesterday, and he said something or other, and which, by the way, if you were working in a behavioral health or psych ward as a comic on your off non-performance time, if you could deal with that, you can deal with any heckler at any club ever.
Right.
Best heckler training. You've got it's inevitable. Like, I'm serious. Like, I had a schizophrenic the other day that was like hallucinating while I was giving my performance, and then I had two people so medicated they fell asleep, and I was like, well, "This is great. I'm doing awesome. I'm doing awesome." And then but sometimes it can be confrontational. Sometimes they'll yell, but 90% of the time they're the nicest, most agreeable audience. They're just like glad to have something besides the regular programming that's being offered on the floor.
Yeah, it's something different. You don't have to read. You don't have to. Someone's there to entertain you. What's the harm in that? Why would you not want that? I would want that. A chance to laugh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but the program is optional. They have the opportunity to go back to their rooms and be on their phones and just do whatever they want to do. That's their free time, so they don't have to come. And every week I have a huge turnout. Almost, I'd say 80 to 90% of the patients on the floor come out for it because it's something they look forward to. They love it. Whereas with the other optional things, they don't really participate. That says something. I'm just saying.
That says a lot. That says a lot. So what do you hope people take away from your comedy after they leave? It's done. They get up, they start to walk out. What do you hope they take with them when they leave?
want them to feel a little lighter, a little less stressed. But that's the first. But I also want them to know, like, keep consuming comedy, support live comedy because it's good for you. I mean, there's so many things you can do today. Here in Charleston, comedy is, I don't know. There's people who will disagree, but comedy is not a huge thing in Charleston because you've got the water. Live music is really popular here. People will go to go sing karaoke. They play trivia. There's all kinds of things you could do, but it just seems like live comedy doesn't come up on people's minds as something to do on a Friday or Saturday night or whenever. Do it. It's good for you. It's awesome. It's fun. Laughter is so good for you.
Right.
So that's
there are
what
a
I
lot
would
of
say.
distractions in Charleston. So if you can pack
Yeah.
a house in Charleston,
Yeah.
you're pretty good, So I know that you have a quote on your bio and it's, I rise from the ashes like a phoenix. Why is that important to you?
Well, I think that goes back to my transition out of the military. I really did not know who I was. My entire identity was being Lieutenant Colonel Robin Johnson, or whatever rank I was. But so I thought, who is this person? Like, who am I? And I felt like I had to reinvent myself. I felt like it was just a big transformation for me. And I don't know. This is silly too. I watched Maleficent, the second one, and I was watching it with my daughter, and the scene at the end where Maleficent changes into a phoenix. And it was just so beautiful to me. And it happened to be, I think we were watching it like right before my retirement date. And I said, that's what I feel like. I feel like I'm making this huge transition and transformation. And you know what? My story's not over. I'm not done. I am going to rise like a phoenix. And that became it. And actually, a lot of comedians gave me crap because they're like, oh, nice stage name. It sounds like a stripper name, blah, 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 blah. I think,
Oh
I
my
don't really care. You can go kiss my butt.
Well, your transition story is not unlike anybody else's. We have all been there. And I think that we're all kind of rising up and at first we're straddling the civilian world, we're straddling the military world, and we don't fit in either one of them, not really. And so we all kind of shed at one point, that uniform, and then we start to become who we think we're supposed to be. And then we start saying, no, that's not me either. And so you're on this journey finding out what it is you want to do, why you're doing it, and finding out what lights you up. Because this is where I found podcasting. Podcasting lights me up. First of all, I love to talk, so that's not a problem.
You and I in a room together, we'd be in trouble.
Or getting drinks in Vegas, they'd be like, yeah, that's good.
They're not ready for us. Pat. They're not ready for us.
It could be dangerous.
Cortado and Robin hit Vegas. We could take the podcast on the road. Oh,
right?
Lord.
So, Robin, where can people find you?
Well, bestmedicinebrigade.com is my website. And then my Instagram is at Best Medicine Brigade. And same with Facebook, Best Medicine Brigade. And yeah, that's it. I'm mostly Facebook and Instagram. I'm trying to do a little bit of TikTok. There's some YouTube videos out there. People want to see if I'm funny, but yeah, I'm working on it. I'm still like trying to get into the social media thing as good as, in this business you have to be, but it's
hard though, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like so tedious. And when I first did my podcast, I'm like, yes, I did it. And they go, okay, well, how are you going to market it? And I was like, wait, what? And you're talking to the girl that likes stuff, hearts stuff, shares stuff, done. Right. So to be in front is really difficult, I think, if you're not used to doing it. So do you have any gigs that are coming up soon?
And I've got a couple things long range, but honestly, I can't remember them right now. So go to my website. Go to my website, bestmedicinebrigade.com. They're all on there. And I am, I'm taking bookings for private events, shows, and trying to do more military shows, military installations, military balls. Like they'll have me perform instead of doing a keynote speaker. So I actually love those events. Those are super fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm in Charlotte, but I know that, Thursdays are just really booked for me and they're probably booked for you. But if you ever come back to Charlotte, let's definitely do dinner or something.
I didn't realize you were in Charlotte. I'm
I
going to be
am
there
in
tomorrow.
Charlotte. Yeah. I
Dang.
am. I know, right? I said, I wish I'd known that before. So you've heard it here, folks. Robin Phoenix Johnson, she's whatever veteran event you might have, just reach out to her because, I have a feeling that she's going to be really funny. Just saying, it's just a feeling. So, Robin, thank you so much for being a part of the Sisters in Service podcast. I know that, and I can't remember, I think, was it on Facebook or LinkedIn? And I was like, oh, I have to reach out to her.
I'm glad you did. Thank you.
Yeah,
so much
I am.
for reaching
I'm
out.
so glad also. And it's been such a pleasure having you on here and hearing about your story. And that's what pulls me as the story. Not that you're a comedian, but how did you come to be that comedian? Where did that come from? That's why I asked you that question about, were you always funny? And so it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much again for being here. And for all my listeners, you know what I'm going to say? Please stay safe, take care of each other. Until next time. And it's never too late to start your impossible.